You ever look back at a picture of yourself from a year ago and feel like you're looking at a completely different person? Yeah, it's a feeling we all get. And believe it or not, over 2,000 years ago, this mysterious Greek thinker named Heraclitus, well, he built his entire philosophy on that exact feeling. And I gotta tell you, his ideas might just change how you see, well, pretty much everything.
I bet you've heard some version of this famous line before. And on the surface, it seems pretty straightforward, right? The river's water is always moving, flowing past. But Heraclitus packed a second, totally mind-bending idea in here. It's not just the river that's changed. You've changed too.
Okay, this is where it gets really good. The river, it's not just a river. It's a huge metaphor for the entire universe, for the very fabric of reality itself. Now, you have to understand, this was a wild idea for his time. Most philosophers were desperately searching for something permanent, something solid and unchanging at the core of reality. Heraclitus just completely flipped that script. He basically argued that the only thing that is permanent is that nothing is. The only constant is change itself. And get this, for Heraclitus, this wasn't some poetic, abstract thought. He saw it as a fundamental law of the universe. The very chair you're sitting in right now, it seems so solid, right? But it's actually a swirling dance of atoms. Those mountains that look so eternal, they're slowly but surely eroding away. And you're a collection of cells that are constantly dying and being replaced. Nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, is static. The ancient Greeks had this perfect phrase for this idea, panta rhei. It literally means everything flows. And when you think about it, it's everywhere. Your thoughts, your emotions, they're in constant flux. The world around you is always shifting. Even the stars up in the sky are being born and are dying. It's the one truth you just can't escape. So if everything is just this relentless cosmic current, does that mean we're all just, adrift in total chaos? Is the universe just a random mess with no rules and no stability? Well, Heraclitus had a pretty stunning answer to that. And this, for me, is where his genius really kicks in. He looked into that swirling vortex of change, and he didn't just see chaos. He saw a hidden order, a kind of secret rulebook that governs the entire show. He was convinced that behind all the flux, there's an invisible logic, a reason for the whole cosmic dance. He called this guiding principle the logos. The easiest way to think about it is like the grammar of the universe, right? Just like grammar gives us the rules to make sense out of a jumble of words, the logos provides the underlying structure that brings order to all that chaotic change. It's the reason the universe is a cosmos, not just a cosmic mess. So, here's the key takeaway. Change isn't random. It's structured. It follows a hidden logic. The logos is what turns that endless flow into something understandable instead of pure chaos. It's the how and the why behind everything. Okay, so this logo sounds cool, but what does it actually look like? How does it bring order to everything? Heraclitus' answer is, well, it's surprising and really deep. It's all about how opposites interact. Just take day and night. We think of them as total opposites, right? But you literally cannot have one without the other. They're not separate things. They're two sides of the very same coin, two parts of one continuous cycle. The existence of one is what gives meaning to the other. And the same exact thing is true for life and death. We see them as enemies, as opposing forces. But Heraclitus would say, no, they're just 2 points on the same continuous journey. One flows into the other, and it's only together that they make a complete picture. Heraclitus just nailed this idea with this one simple sentence. Your perspective changes if you're going up or going down, but the path itself, it's the same path. It's a perfect metaphor for how opposites are really a single unit. And here's the real kicker. This tension between opposites isn't a bad thing. In fact, Heraclitus thought it was the engine that creates everything. Think about a bow and arrow. It's the tension, the string and the wood pulling against each other, that makes the arrow fly. Or think of a lyre. The beautiful music only happens because of the tension in the strings. For Heraclitus, this constant strife is actually what creates harmony. Okay, so this is all really fascinating stuff, but you might be thinking, what does a 2,500-year-old philosophy have to do with my life right now, today? Well, it turns out Heraclitus' ideas are incredibly useful. They're like a powerful framework for getting through our crazy modern world. So how can we actually use this?
Well, first, we can learn to embrace change. Instead of fighting it and getting stressed, we can just see it as the natural flow of life. Second, when things feel chaotic or uncertain, try to find the logos. Look for the underlying pattern or the lesson to be learned. And finally, and this is a big one, we can learn to appreciate tension. That argument you had at work, maybe it's not just a conflict. Maybe it's the creative friction that's going to lead to a way better idea.
When you get right down to it, Heraclitus' philosophy is so much more than some ancient theory. It's a practical guide for building resilience. It gives us a way to not just survive, but to actually thrive in a world that is always, always in a state of beautiful, chaotic, and amazing change.
And that brings us right back to where we started, back to the river. If the river is always changing, and the person stepping into it is always changing, it leaves us with one heck of a question to think about. Who then are you?